Hello, everybody. This is Anthony Bionis from Mission Start Podcast, and if you enjoy listening to us, not only on the website but also on iTunes, be sure to check us out on Stitcher as well. Stitcher is an iPhone, Android app, also on other smartphones. You can download for free, and also registration is for free too. It's an app that you can listen to any podcast that is on there without ever downloading a file. When you register with Stitcher, be sure to put in promo code Mission Start or Conover or both, and you get to automatically be entered into a $100 prize every month from Stitcher. So be sure to check us out, support us, and we'll support you guys. Hello, everybody. This is Anthony Bionis from Mission Start Podcast, and today with me I have Jace, our new videographer, and he just went to Jam in Fresno this past weekend. Before we go into our discussion, kind of tell us about yourself since you're new to the site.
Well, I actually started taking photos when I was 8 years old, and I kind of started black and white photography, film, moved on from there, started going to anime conventions back in 2005, I believe it was, and started cosplaying. Never really thought about photos until around 2009 when I started a group with one of my friends called Very Important Cosplay, and it was almost like a news group, kind of like Mission Start Podcast,
Mm-hmm.
but we were focusing on showing off the cosplays of everyone, making everyone feel like they were important.
Cool.
Unfortunately, the person who did that passed away, so that has been put on hold indefinitely.
Mm-hmm.
From then, I started upgrading and actually taking photos at all the different anime conventions, SAC Anime, Fanime, and people have been requesting me for photo shoots. And finally, I decided I was going to upgrade my camera, and I started shooting videos, and here's come to actually shooting lip dub videos, and that's what I went down to Jam to go do.
Yes. I watched your video, and first thing, and I also saw some photos from the event. First thing I have to say is, how I know you told me you put this middle thing on to kind of balance or kind of hold the camera while you do your shots. How heavy was that thing?
When you're wearing it, it almost feels like you're just wearing a little bit of a heavy backpack, like you put maybe a laptop and maybe a Xbox inside a backpack.
Mm.
That's kind of what it feels like when you're wearing it, but because being Jam in Fresno, it was about 104 outside, and I'm wearing this huge
Ooh.
vest,
Oof.
and it doesn't breathe whatsoever.
Oof.
So it's basically just holding in the heat and holding in all the sweat, and I'm wearing that from 9 in the morning all the way until about 11:30 at night.
Damn.
So it was just very hot.
Damn.
Wasn't the most comfortable thing.
Oof, man, I feel for you, man. But your work, your videos that you've produced lately have been really awesome and really great, and it almost compares to many other videos out there. Now, my question is, when you decided to do lip dubbing videos, where did you exactly get the idea from, or was it something you just thought of one day? It's like, hey, I want to do this type of deal.
Well, it originally started, I wanted to get into videography because I was working for a lot of magicians out in the area, filming their shows and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I want to do videos for anime conventions because I already am taking photos, I want to do videos. I was looking at like Axon and there's a few others out there I can't think of right on top of my name. Everyone knows Axon, though.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I saw that, and I'm like, I love that stuff. It's just, I want to do something a little bit different. And I saw the Cosplay Fever book
Mm-hmm.
video for the pink Raise Your Glass cosplay lip dub. That's where I got my idea. I was like, why don't I do cosplay lip dubs over here? Because that one was done over in the UK, I believe.
Mm.
There weren't so many cosplay lip dubs going over in the United States at all. for at anime conventions at all. So I was like, I want to start doing those over, in California, all the conventions that I go to, and make that a thing over here.
That's awesome. It is totally sweet, and I totally respect that as a direction you're going with. Now at the time you were going, you were at Annie Jam this past weekend. Now I was gonna plan to go, but something came up. But I was wondering, how many years have you been going to Annie Jam, or is this your first time going to Annie Jam?
This would actually be my second year. I went last year when it was across the street at the Radisson Hotel.
Wow. Now, how I cannot talk today. Compared to other anime conventions, how big is Annie Jam compared to the others?
Well, since it moved to the convention center across the street, it's gotten bigger, but because of that space, it made it look like there was less attendees from the previous year.
I see.
So it's a little bit hard to judge. It almost looked like an attendance of 500. So a smaller convention, maybe more comparable to like AOD in San Francisco, but a little bit on the smaller side.
Right.
Just from the size of the area and a little amount of people, I could be wrong on that number.
I hear you. Which hey, sometimes like some small anime conventions are fine also because we've been to many in the years we've been cosplaying and doing all sorts of stuff, and we've seen like the biggest crowds where it's like crowded as hell. And sometimes like going to a small convention, is nice every once in a while. So I could
Oh yeah.
I could totally dig that.
Yeah, it was nice to get away from the big convention scene for a weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. So when you were there, were there any notable cosplays that you happened to come across?
There were a few. I actually featured some of them in my videos. I think the last one was from not Wide Awake is the one coming out, but the Army of... No, this one isn't the Wide Awake one that's coming out soon. Should be later today when that one comes out. I really can't remember the names of it, but I did see, if I'm correct, No Face was there.
Awesome.
That was a very interesting cosplay. I really like that one. And I am losing all my cosplay names. I showed a lot of them in the videos. That's all I can say.
Okay, that's cool.
If you look through my videos, I mean, the Paper Sword Party was doing the Fire Nation Avatar cosplays. So they had Suki, Suki, Katara, Sokka, all in Fire Nation outfits.
Nice.
And then it was Azula, Zula, Zuko, also there.
Right.
A few more I'm probably forgetting from their group, but Paper Sword Party was fun. I've known them for a while, and they really outdid themselves this time for their Fire Nation outfits.
Awesome. Sweet. Shout outs to that cosplay group. So aside from like the photography and the video shoots you were doing, when you had time for yourself to just kind of walk around the convention center, did you happen to go into any of the other rooms, like the panels or the game room or any of that stuff?
I did stop in two panels. I stopped in the Vocalect Visions panel. That was on Saturday at noon, run by Tempo P and Wolf Navi, who's the sound engineer and the director of the shows. And they were talking about a little bit of what went on behind the scenes, how they make their music, and a little bit about the Vocaloid culture around the world.
Awesome. And the funny thing about that is that I mean, like, I think as far as how Vocaloid is preserved today, as not many people know, is that people who see Vocaloid today are thinking more of the characters than the music by itself. Because originally when I got interested in Vocaloid, it was because like you can take these digital voices and you can create your own music using a voice of a character that does not exist yet, you can use that to whatever role you want, and then people will start making like music videos to the songs they make, and it's like really cool. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool. It's awesome. It's creative.
Well, all the fan-generated content out there, you're able to be your own music production company, from the pianist to the guitarist to the drummer,
Mm-hmm.
and now the singer, and then you have the ability to create your own music videos using Miku Miku Dance, fan-created software,
Mm-hmm.
to actually take those characters and animate them.
Yes. So yeah, it is definitely really cool, and it's something I really dig. But that's awesome that you went. What was the other panel that did you go and see?
It was the Paper Sword Party Tips and Dip.
Hmm.
It's a name that they gave it. I kind of got a kick out of that one. It was basically almost like a Q&A panel where the fans were able to ask Paper Sword Party questions about be cosplaying, what you need to do when you're cosplaying, and the general rules about an anime convention. So it was basically a place to get your questions answered from the professionals, I guess you could call it.
Right. The wily old vets, as they say.
Yes.
That's cool. When you were there, was there any? We've been through many conventions, and we have various lessons we learned over the years on how to conduct yourself at an anime convention. Was there a question that was asked at the panel that you just kind of had a face palm, or like was just kind of like wondering like why'd you ask that?
I don't think I heard one when I was in the panels because I was running around a lot. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I got to sit into the panels for maybe about 30 minutes out of their whole hour
Oh, okay.
panel. But a lot of them were pretty relevant. I mean, the group that was there was still kind of quiet.
Mhm.
I noticed that Annie Jam was a quieter anime convention.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to the dance later at night at the raves that they had, the crowd that's in there is maybe about 50 to 60 people. Not what you would get at, say, SAC Anime that's maybe hitting 250 or 300 in the dance.
Right. I hear you. Which is cool. I can dig that. So they had a dance at Annie Jam?
Yeah, they had their Day Zero dance, which was hosted by Greg Ayers. And I think it was kind of interesting. I overheard this story. Apparently, it was the airlines lost his DJing gear.
No way.
So he had to DJ that night on gear that he's never used before.
Wow.
And then the Day One dance was hosted by DJ Katsuhiko Genai / Sigma Star, and he has one other name that he goes by. He separates, I would guess you could call it a persona, on what kind of music he plays.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Were you there for any of the dance nights?
I went to both of them, and I actually filmed some footage in there. There was some footage from the first dance in I think it was the Feel So Close video, if I'm correct. There was video in the dance.
Oh, wow. Awesome. That's pretty cool. Wow, that kind of sucks though for the first DJ where he had to work on different equipment.
But he pulled it off. He pulled it off.
Pulled it off? Wow. That's impressive. Very, very impressive. Annie Jam was only a 2-day con, right?
It was a 2-day con, but for the pre-registration attendees, they did get a Day Zero, which was a preview day.
Ah, I see.
They opened up the dealer's hall for a little bit, and the dealers that were there got to show off some of their stuff, and you could buy a few things. And then they had the dance in the evening. So it was a very small day for Day Zero.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Funny enough, I just out of curiosity, like, out of the anime conventions you've been to, like, have you ever gone to Day Zero aside from Annie Jam?
I've been to Fanime's Day Zero, and I think I went to SAC Anime on a Thursday. I don't know if they really called it a Day Zero.
Right.
But
I hear you. Yeah, it's funny. I never been to a Day Zero at any anime convention.
Day Zero is mainly just to get your badges.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's good because you get to skip the lines
Oh
on
yes.
busier days. That's always why I go to a day zero. I don't want to wait in the line.
Yes, I definitely hear you. And the reason why I wasn't able to go to any day zeros because it just so happens that they land the anime conventions at a time where I'm in school, so it's like I can't do it till Friday. It's like no, um, but that's pretty cool. The special guests that were there, did you happen to pass by and see him, or was it more or less like there was a big crowd surrounding him, getting autographs and whatnot?
I talked with Greg Ayers just a little bit while he was outside getting
Hmm.
ready to go in to set up for his DJ set. That was mostly a hi and is it okay if I film you in the dance?
Mm.
And then I saw Mari Watanabe, or as many people out in the Bay Area know, San Francisco Sailor Moon. She does her concerts out here. I saw her quite a few times running around the convention, but she was always uh, getting crowded by people or people asking her questions.
Right, right. I did see it. Somebody posted a video of her doing a skit with that little girl as Miku.
Hmm.
Yeah, I saw that video and like people were just like in awe and just like in like what's the word I'm looking for? They were astounded by the cuteness that was on that stage apparently.
Unfortunately, I missed it. It was Sunday night when they have their skits and walk-ons for their cosplay competition.
Ah,
And unfortunately, I had to head back up to the Bay Area.
right.
So,
It's cool. It's up on the YouTube. It's pretty damn cute. Yeah. So, can I talk? Did you happen to go into the game room or the dealer's hall?
I was in the dealer's hall for a while on the preview day,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw a little bit of it on day one. There was a fair amount of dealers. I think it was about half the size of maybe SAC Anime's
Mm-hmm.
dealer's hall.
Right.
Half the size. And for the con, that's perfectly fine.
Oh yeah, definitely. And y-
I wouldn't expect more dealers, especially in Fresno.
yeah, definitely. Because from the sounds of things, it seems like a small con with 500 to 10 attendees going. It's perfect for that size, definitely.
Oh yeah. So I mean, they took care of everything really well. They had plenty of dealers to fit everybody's needs. They had they had lots of drinks inside that you could get um, for the convention.
Right.
I
Right.
think the only thing that I would say that I don't like
Mm-hmm.
about the convention
Mm-hmm.
is because it's held at the convention center or the Radisson.
Mm-hmm.
It's the business district of Fresno, meaning everything closes early on Saturday
Oh, that
and
sucks.
Sunday.
Oh, that sucks. Oh.
I want my Starbucks on Saturday. They close at 5, and food is almost nowhere to be found on Sunday except for at the Radisson Hotel across the street, and they tend to be pricey because of the hotel.
Right. I hear you. I hear you. Huh. And if you think about it, like these businesses, you would think these businesses will take the opportunity of a bunch of these cosplayers and people coming to the anime convention, and why not extend the hours for more business, sell more
Oh,
stuff.
yeah. I know because they have a Quiznos down there. They have a Subway. There's a Japanese restaurant that I think should be
Oh
open.
my God,
Everyone
yes.
at an anime convention. But I went there even on Saturday. They were closed.
Wow. So if any of you are listening to this podcast and you're part of the business district, please open up your doors next year for AnyJam.
All the cosplayers will greatly appreciate it.
Yes, yes. And as somebody who has been to many, it is definitely an awesome thing. Um, so out of the experience you had at this AnyJam, this is your second year going, right?
Hmm.
Compared to last year, did you like it better this year, or was there anything you would like to see different for next year?
Um, I Out of the size and the location, I definitely liked the Radisson better,
Mm-hmm.
even though it was smaller. The location was nicer. The inside of the hotel was gorgeous. They have a great water fountain there. I know a lot of the cosplayers enjoyed it because they were able to take photos in there. It was easy to find someone.
Mm-hmm.
Across the street at the convention center, it's a little bit too big
I
for
see.
for their own good. I mean, they had some good-sized panel rooms. They had a good-sized gaming room from what I could see from the outside of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the dealer's hall, I mean, it's probably about the size of half of Fanime's gaming hall.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the size that they made the dealer's hall, sitting area, and the dance hall. They split it up into 3.
Mm.
So it was a little bit too big for that, so it made it seem very small.
Right, right.
And then I'm hearing a little birdie has told me, this is not official, so no way quote me on this. I hear that they may be getting the theater right across from the convention center. That's also part of the convention center. They have multiple buildings. So it sounds like they might be expanding again next year.
Interesting.
So in a way, I feel like it might hurt them a little bit.
Right, right. I definitely hear what you're saying because, I think that when small conventions start out, they start to kind of judge on how big they'll get, year after year, and usually for these anime conventions, they usually get bigger every year, regardless. But by expanding, I mean, for cosplayers and for attendees, it's nice to walk around, have space, not worry about the crowds and anything like that. But for a small convention trying to expand to maybe draw in more people for next year, it may end up hurting them in the long run and end up not making as much profit as they did possibly this past year or last year. So I could definitely see how this could really hurt them. But time will tell, and like all anime conventions, they get bigger every year. And for Anime, I think that time will definitely tell, and I think time will be on their side if they play it right. So yeah, from this
definitely more advertising for them. Get the word out. And I know I've been there a few times. I really love the convention. I know I'll spread the word for them. And it's just get the cosplayers there. If they are getting the theater, I know they have a plan for that because, of course, they have the stage in there now. So they could definitely use that for, say, their masquerade and everything in there and big panels and shows. I know they might be planning some stuff like that next year. So I could be wrong. Maybe even that theater has panel rooms and they might even get rid of the convention hall altogether.
Maybe.
Which, if it did, I think that would be a lot nicer. Just have everything in this nice theater building.
It would be. You get nice seating. You get to see everything. Yeah, it would sound pretty great. I think like a few questions I've left is that when you were there, were there any gatherings of the sort when you were there for cosplayers?
There were gatherings, but my main problem is I don't think the convention pushed them hard enough. The gatherings are all fan-run, and they're organized through the forums on AniJam's website.
Right.
I know there was, I think it was a Hitman Reborn gathering that was supposed to be going on. There was a Brony gathering that was supposed to be going on. And a few others that people were talking about. The thing was, I never saw the gatherings happen.
Interesting.
It was just too many people running around, too big of an area. No one could find each other, and no one knew about them. Because if you looked at the chats in some of those gatherings, it would be the same 3 people commenting back and forth in the forum. It wasn't pushed too much by the convention. I know they posted maybe 3 times about it, but I think it would be good if they actually had it like on the main page of their site.
Right. Yeah, I think it would help. Also, maybe because it's such a small convention that there weren't enough cosplayers for a group to form.
Definitely.
Yeah, but hey, with these things, like I said, it takes time, and time is something that I think this anime convention could use.
Yeah. I know this, actually, if I'm right, AniJam's been going on since around 2004, 2005.
Really? Huh.
Yeah. I know it moved from a different location to the Radisson Hotel, and they just moved this year again out to the convention center. So it's, from what
Hmm.
I've heard, it's been a small con all along.
Okay. Well,
But it seems like they are getting bigger slowly and surely. I know that there's a few other people coming up from Northern California, the Bay Area, are coming down to Fresno for it. I
Mm-hmm.
met a few people from up here that went down to the convention. So I know it's getting bigger. It's getting more coverage around the area as well.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, I can't say enough again. Like it is time, and that's what they need to, for it to get big over time. Because I think,
It is time, but if you enjoy a small convention, it is a
oh
great
yeah,
anime convention to go see.
definitely,
Regardless.
definitely. If you want to get away from all the big crowds of like Fanime or Anime Expo or any other these big cons, a small con every once in a while is pretty nice. You don't have to worry
It's a
about it.
great place to meet people.
Yes, you can go to the bathroom and it'll actually look nice. um, well, thank you, Jace, for coming on this podcast to talk about AnyJam. Where can they find you on the internet?
They can find me on Facebook, my photography and now videography page, facebook.com/rave to the J, and on Twitter at rave to the J photo.
Awesome. You can also check out his work not only on his YouTube page, which is at
That's youtube.com/rave to the J photography.
you can also check it out on our website, which we have hosted there, so people can check it out there or on YouTube, on his YouTube page. Um, as for me, you can follow me on Twitter at Defective Naruto. You can follow this podcast, among other stuff we do on our website, at missionstartpodcast.com. There you can find out all information, our Facebook, our Twitter, our YouTube channel. Everything you need to know about us is there. Please do check out our new page we just set up this past week, I think it was. Yeah. This past week we set up a new page. You go check it out. It's called MSP TV, where we have our stream channel, our gaming sessions, our weekly website updates. Everything that we do video-wise is there. Trailers are coming. It's just, I got to figure it out. But anyways, thank you again, Jace, for joining me for this podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. And with that, we'll see you guys later.